What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, we're coming at you live from our studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have an amazing, packed, exciting, fun show for you today. We have one of our favorite guests, Scott Melker from the Wolf of All Streets, will be joining us in T-minus 25 minutes. We're going to get his opinion on the stablecoins. We're going to get his opinion on, can Bitcoin get to $56,000 this year? We'll discuss that. One analyst who precisely predicted the 2020 move, the 2020 run, is saying Bitcoin is going to go to 56K by the end of this year. We'll discuss that. We also have some news on Binance. We have some news on Celsius and some positive news regarding Mt. Gox and the creditors. But before we can get into any of that content, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-hosts who rug pulled our community for their opening up the club. Big Rob, what's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and that stale stuff and package it up in a fun and sexy way.
I need to get some, I need to straighten some now. All right, Jimmy texted me. He said, we got rug pulled. We got double rug pulled on the club. They had a credit. They want to use it. We didn't do it. I want you guys to know.
The credit has lowered.
I want you guys to know. Me, who rarely wants to open up the club because I think our number should be higher. I wanted to. This guy, that guy said no.
All right.
So Jimmy.
So, club
Call
is
that
at 275. We've lowered
we're
barrier
dropping
for
it.
entry.
225.
250.
No, we got to give him the club, man.
250. We can get to 250, man. I believe.
You see this, Jimmy? I'm trying, bro. Don't attack me. I'm on your side. I'm on your side.
Did you like take some salsa lessons or something? You got some new moves you want to show off?
Yeah, I do. You know, Scott, our guest today, he was a DJ. He's seen some dancing. So maybe we open up a club with him in here and we can have him rate our dance moves.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, I'm game, baby.
Your game?
Mm-hmm.
Texting Rob now. Guys, if you're new here, please drop an hola and Robin will drop one back at you. But not only will he drop an hola back at you, he will also mispronounce your name. And so, yeah, we're excited for that. Man, 25K, bro. 25K. We've been talking about this number. If we get through 25K, we build support on top.
Oh, we are almost there. Look at that.
We were there.
24, 925. We are itching. We are scratching. We are testing. We are biting. We're getting right there. And you know what that means, right?
What does it mean?
It means we're going to throw on the bullhorns because, baby, we getting new highs, baby.
I'm feeling the bullhorns today. I'm actually feeling the bullhorns today.
You are?
Yeah. 25K deserves bullhorns. But you saw the title of this video, 56K. Where does that come from? We're going to talk about that. But first, what are your thoughts on beauty pageants? You know, yeah, answer that question first and then I'll frame.
My thoughts on beauty pageants.
Do you watch them?
No, I don't.
I feel like Rocco watches beauty pageants.
Yeah, I do.
He does.
I watch Miss Universe.
Has Italy ever won Miss Universe?
No, not that I'm aware of it. No, maybe in the
Italy has some of the most beautiful ladies out there. I will say that.
Delicious.
I've been to Italy. I actually lived in Italy for a little bit when I was younger. But yeah, some gorgeous ladies over there. I'm surprised. You know?
Yeah. You know, you're always a guy, Robin, saying that, you know, crypto and blockchain doesn't have to integrate with everything, right? You don't need your fridge to run on blockchain. You say stuff like this, right?
I'm scared to know what's coming next.
Well, what if I told you there's a crypto beauty pageant?
Crypto beauty pageant?
The number one beauty pageant in the crypto world. This is from His Excellency.
Is there more than one?
Miss Hwobi is officially live, and the top 3 contestants will directly go to Miss Asia. Be careful what you wish for. And if anyone can decipher, I believe this is in Cantonese or Mandarin. If anyone can decipher what this says, please.
Actually, it says to the moon.
Well, the HD2.
Just say it.
So what are your thoughts on this? Are you going to be watching the Miss Hwobi teen pageant?
Now, my question is it going to be like tokens all dressed up with like AI like hairdos, or is it going to be actual ladies?
That's a good question.
You know,
I guess you got to tune in to find out, bro.
be like one of those AI like generated beauty pageants. That'd be interesting, right?
Yeah, very interesting.
Could you imagine
Let me
having
see a bunch of sexy robots?
No, not a robot, but I'm just saying. Imagine if you had a beauty pageant where it was all AI generated models. And so one after another, and you had like Chat GPT versus what are the other AI ones?
The Bing one came out.
Yeah, what is that one called?
Not sure,
like
but
Ring.
Google has Bard.
Yeah, Bard. Yeah. So what if you had all the different AI models out there creating models?
That's weird.
And then they were having
Not a fan.
a contest amongst each other.
No. Who's going to watch it? The other AIs?
Yeah. You got your Nintendo Switch, like, yeah, go.
Robin, speaking of AI, you excited, bro?
About what?
About our video?
Oh yeah, we got a video coming out. That'll be up today. So this afternoon. So this afternoon we do have another AI specific video. So make sure you guys go check that out. And we're excited about it. One of those.
It's going to be a good one. If you wondered how AI and crypto go together and what the possibilities are, you're going to want to watch this video. It's going to be really good. All right. So Polygon, right? Polygon's been ripping. It's at about $1.45. $1.45. And we know why. Polygon has made partnership after partnership. And so here is some of the biggest names that are currently building on Polygon. You have Amazon. They're doing a 3D anime series. Adidas NFT collection. Coca-Cola NFT collection. Disney NFT AR, AI, VR, and AR. Meta NFT collection. Starbucks NFT marketplace. Robinhood Web3 wallet. Reddit NFT marketplace. Mercedes, interesting data sharing. And then Nike, a Web3 platform. Is Polygon the de facto bridge from companies moving from Web 2 to Web 3 or from the traditional world to the blockchain world?
I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, right now it's the leader, right? As far as big name partnerships with traditional companies and progressive companies or whoever. I mean, have Nike and Coca-Cola are both kind of traditional / progressive companies. Or I actually can say that about all of these here. Trendy companies that have a long historic history, that all of these have a big focus on advertising. Did you notice that? Except for maybe Robinhood. I haven't seen much advertising there. But
they advertise. We just don't watch.
Yeah,
cable.
a lot of advertisement going out of there. So perhaps this is another, maybe they're looking at blockchain as a marketing kind of avenue, perhaps.
That's what I was saying yesterday. $200 billion market cap. If the overall crypto market cap is $6-7 billion or $6-7 trillion, I don't think it's out of the question, guys.
Yeah. If
Polygon continues to do what they're doing, they continue building out, developing, bringing these massive brands into Web3, into their ecosystem. I think $200 billion is on the low end of projections, in my opinion. All right, let's get into the crypto markets. Robin, what are they looking like?
Okay. Well, real quick, before I jump right into the markets, I do want to give a little love to the chat. If you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We have Crypto and Matrix, Vincent, Pave Cleaner, Avinash, to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also, let's hit the like button. Let's get this party started. Let's get this going. I want to know, are we gonna cross over 25K and stay there by the end of the show? What do you think? By the end of the show, will we be over 25,000?
Good question.
Put a 1 in the chat if you think we'll be over 25K at the end of the show. Put a 2 in the chat if you're bearish and you think we're going to pull back a little bit.
How could you be bearish?
Yeah, so.
Liquidated Short said you're looking slick.
I'm looking slick?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Now, taking a look at the Bitcoin chart here, or the price, as I mentioned, $24,980.
So, hold on. What's your vote? Are you a 1 or a 2?
by the end of the show. I think it won't. I think we'll be over 25K by the end
I
of the
think
show.
so too, bro.
Yeah.
I think so too.
You know, this is resistance, so we could bounce right off of it and be at 24/7 or something.
We're at the 200-week moving average. We're literally right there. And so
Didn't we have an analyst yesterday saying that if we had there was an analyst said that if we cross the 200-week moving average, it's 200-week moving average, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, Bitcoin is ripping. I mean, something like that.
Bitcoin has to rip if it goes over 200-week. Right?
Yeah.
The important thing is,
So we crossed the big resistance
and then keep going.
and the 200-week moving average at the same time, like a confluence of
well, depends
movements.
on what time frames you're looking, right? If you're looking at a more daily, weekly, monthly, the 200-week moving average is the big resistance, right? So we'll see.
Okay. So taking a look at
any new patterns you're going to share with us today, Rob?
Let me see. Not on the daily, because on the daily we're going sideways.
Pattern.
Yeah, not much here.
Glacier.
This is nice. This is what I like to call the
cliff diving.
No, there's no cliff diving. They're climbing here, bro. And then zooming out on the 1 month and the 3 month. Lastly, we'll take a look at the 1 year chart. No, the year to date chart. So you can see where we're at the 1st of January and where we're at now. Dang, we're getting close to a 2x, right?
Yeah.
You know, when we get to 32,000, which we're not that far off, or closer to 32,000 than we are to 16. And if we get to 32,000, that is a solid 2x from where we started the year at.
You know what I'm seeing there? I'm seeing an ambidextrous cup and handle, right? Left and right.
Okay.
You see it?
No?
Me neither.
Okay. So I do want to say, before I get into any other numbers here, the fear and greed index, look at that, man.
Damn.
62. And so not only are the markets rallying, but so is consumer sentiment. The retail investor is feeling very confident in the direction of crypto. And I could see crypto getting to 30K, man. And I could see us getting there relatively easy and perhaps going past 30K and then pulling back down to 30K as support. I think that is that's on the table this month, man. What do you think? You think we're going to get to 30K by the end of the month? It's 2 weeks away. In the next 2 weeks.
I mean,
that would be a 20% run up.
Think about what's left to the end of the month, right? You got jobs numbers coming out tomorrow. That could possibly affect, right? If it comes in, if it's perceived as negative, and if people start saying, "Oh, well, this is the Fed's going to hike this much because of this," and I think that's the only thing. But February also is the shortest month of the year. It's only, I believe, we have 12 or 13 more days. Not sure if this is a leap year or not, but I think
20% within the next 12 days, and it's a lot.
I mean, Bitcoin is up 50% since January in Q1 of this year. 50%. So, I mean, that's
there you go.
Obviously, sentiment is good. Money's flowing in. You have countries that are continuing to battle inflation and currency debasement. People, I mean, we saw the price of one Bitcoin in Nigeria almost double what it was here in the US. We're seeing similar things in Argentina.
Ew, that Nigeria thing,
that's crazy.
What a disaster. If you guys haven't followed what's going on in Nigeria, it is a complete collapse of the monetary system, right? I mean, is there any other
they're
term
pushing
for that?
people to a CBDC. They're having limits on how much money people can withdraw, and people aren't having any of it. So
they've debased their money, man, which is even crazier.
A lot of countries are doing that, though.
Yeah, well, most countries are doing it by printing it, and they didn't print. I mean, I know they printed, but that's not the core reason for the debasement or the value dropping. So it's intricate, you know, obviously when it comes to economies, and there's a lot of different factors that can can sway and change things, especially value. So I don't know, man. It's all failure of government. That's why we're here, man.
That's why we Bitcoin, baby.
That's why we're in crypto, because you know what? If you can create a network, if you can privatize money, you can make money private created by the private sector, and you can simply put a cap to how much is printed. And this is essentially what crypto is. And this ecosystem runs off of the sheer premise of transaction fees, right? Yeah. And as the network grows, you get more transaction fees, so it kind of just feeds on itself. But essentially, that's it. So instead of having a government saying, hey, we had a catastrophe. Hey, we had some mismanagement of money. Hey, we need to build X, Y, and Z. So we're going to print money and debase our citizens' currency. That's essentially what.
Rob, let me ask you a question. Okay. So, what if there, and of course, this is, we're extrapolating and we're putting on our tinfoil hats here. But if we end up going into some sort of, the Russia thing escalates and, the US, the war, let's just say war starts, that's going to push people to something like Bitcoin. You think, because we see during war, gold goes up, right? Gold shoots up.
Is you've used these analogies many times, and you are on to something, but the thing is it's not like a light switch. It's not, even with these global events, it's not that all of a sudden everybody's using Bitcoin and everyone switches over and money collapses. What happens here, and what we've seen over and over again in the direction that this is going, is that the market is adopting and integrating crypto. And so little by little, you get more people moving over. So maybe this month we get a few more people that want to transact in crypto. They want to keep their life savings in crypto. And as these global events happen, it just speeds up the process. And so is there gonna be some kind of fallout war with Russia? Sure. Or, would that cause market adoption? I think so. Yeah. But not to the level of where, hey, before the war, nobody used Bitcoin. After the war, everyone's using Bitcoin, and they said, F the markets, or the traditional finance. So to answer your question, yeah, but not really. It's just, that's the direction we're going. This is the future. It will replace things. Now, how much of the world is going to be replaced by blockchain? I don't know. And that's what we're here to find out. That's what we're here to research, to say, hey, what sectors are going to get disrupted by crypto? What is going to be more efficient and better at the end of the day with crypto instead of what was there before? And so that's what we don't know. But it ain't going to happen in one day. It ain't going to happen in 1 week. It ain't going to happen in 1 year. And it ain't going to happen in 5 years. But over 20 years, it will. Over 10 years, it might. Over 7 years, it's possible. So, that's the way I am. And also an interesting statistic here, just to kind of circle back on the failures of fiat. At the target 2%, interest, or, inflation, excuse me. You, over 30 years, or less than 30 years, in 20 some odd years, you've lost half of your purchasing power. And that is supposed to be ideal. That is supposed to be the gold standard. That is supposed to be what you're supposed to hang your hat on. The Fed is like, hey, we need to get to 2%. First of all, that is a broken philosophy, right? Because they're saying, hey, we want to achieve, our goal here is within 25 to 30 years, you lose half of your purchasing power. And that's a fraud. It's a long con, bro. Right?
Well, I mean, deflation is just as bad as inflation.
That's what they want you to believe. That's what they're telling you, man. Is that they give you this, they paint you this picture that the fiat system and the monetary system is so reliant, they're so addicted to printing and inflation that it'll all break and collapse if we don't have inflation. And to some point, that's right. But is that at some point that philosophy's right? But is it the right way of looking at it? Is it what you actually want? Do you want and push for the debasement of your own currency, of your purchasing power? The fact that if you decide to save money in a savings account for your kids 20, 30 years from now when you pass away, they only get half of it. That's ideal, right? That the government's like, yo, 2%, that's where we need to be. Like it's trash, bro. And that's why I'm here, man. That is why I am here, because we have been brainwashed to accept that. We've been brainwashed to accept 0.05% interest rate on a savings account, $15 transaction fee or $15 checking account fee, $50 wire transfer fee. We're told 2% is good. That's where we want to be. Lose half your purchasing power in 25 to 30 years. That's ideal. We've been brainwashed, bro.
If you guys want Robin to run for Fed chair, put a 1 in.
And also hit that damn like button. Thank you.
All right, guys, let's bring on our special guest, Rocco. Mr. Melker.
What's up, guys? I don't know how special I am, but I'll be the guest.
You're special, man.
Yeah.
You're special in our
Thank you.
eyes.
Thank
How you doing,
You're
my
special
friend?
too.
Aw.
I'm doing great. Doing great.
I'm like that parent.
Nice rant.
I'm like that parent that doesn't get any, or I'm like that kid that doesn't get any love from their parent. Robin never shows me love, so when someone shows me love, I really appreciate it.
I'm glad I could help make your Thursday better.
He had a lonely Valentine's Day. We'll put it that way.
I did not.
Sounds that way. Sounds that
How
way.
was your Valentine's Day, my friend? Did you do anything crazy?
We did not do anything crazy at all, to be quite honest. Basically, when you get older and you have kids, like Valentine's Day becomes about your kids. So kind of focused on them. And honestly, it's probably the best night not to go out if you are like married.
100% agree, especially living in Vegas. Valentine's Day at restaurants is amateur night.
I'm scoring.
Right.
When I was in first grade, I gave a Valentine's Day card to everybody, and I was trying to be funny, and apparently I got canceled. And the teacher was like, "Hey,
did you put on the
Big
card?
Rob put any appropriate comments on your Valentine's Day card, give them to the front." Anyway, she collected them all, took away my Valentine's.
They call you Big
What did you put
Rob
on the
when you
cards?
were.
I don't remember
They
what
call
I
you Big
said.
Rob
I think
back
I was
then,
like,
too.
"Hey, you're cute" or
Rob.
something. What's up? Or you got like a bad hairdo. I don't know. I was like,
He called her a hoe. He called
I
somebody.
probably did. I probably did.
Ho, ho, ho. Christmas isn't here yet.
I was getting canceled back in the
Santa
80s,
Claus
bro.
reference. Fine. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it was. Scott, I want to ask you a question. Are you a fan of beauty pageants?
Not particularly.
Are you willing to watch this beauty pageant? Miss Huobi. It's going to be live. And so the number one beauty pageant in the crypto world, I'm curious, is the Wolf of All Streets going to be tuning in to Miss Huobi live?
I mean, like, I don't really understand. Are they NFTs?
That's what I was
I think that's the
real
point.
People? I mean, now I didn't hear about it, but now I'm tempted to tune in just out of sheer curiosity.
Same here, yeah. I'm trying to convince Robin. I think we should do a watch party on this one.
I was saying that perhaps it's all AI generated models. Like, that'd be an interesting one. You got ChatGPT versus Bart, and what's the other one? The Discord one?
No idea.
Midjourney.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Midjourney. I've seen that. The people that those things create look very real. So let's do it.
Yeah. It's
all
just
the
these deep
crypto
fakes.
Twitter virgins can go simp over the AI. Great.
They already do. The crypto. All right, I want to share. I
said
chart.
the quiet part out loud, didn't I?
It's okay. You can say the quiet parts out loud. Okay.
know,
All
thank
right.
you.
Let's talk about this chart. All right. So this is the Bitcoin halving cycles. All right.
Yeah, I got the same
So
one.
in blue you have the November 13th market cycle. In orange you have 2017, and then currently the red is where we're at now. And so you can see here where we're at in the halving cycle. The last two times we've seen a big run up, drawdown, and then the parabolic move. Do you see the similar playing out, Scott, or do you think it's different this time because of macro, because of world events? Or do you think it's just going to follow the same cycle it's done the last 2 cycles?
Sir John Templeton said that the 4 most dangerous words in investing are this time it's different, because it never is, and this time is no different. I'm literally like on my other screen, I happen to have the exact same chart pulled up,
Really?
which is from TradingView, but a halving chart showing the bottoms. I've been harping on this for months, if not years at this point. And it actually, that chart would have been almost precisely perfect if the June bottom had stuck. But then we obviously got SBF'd, which has become a verb, in case you guys are wondering. We get Genslered and SBF'd are the 2 things that happen to us. But we got SBF'd, obviously got what I would call sort of almost an artificial low, which is just a better opportunity, which then, led to sort of being a little bit delayed, maybe by, 100 days or something, 50 days on this halving cycle. But if you eliminate all of the noise from this cycle, all the macro, all the everything, and you go back and give the benefit of the doubt to there also being noise and news in every other cycle, which there was, which none of us remember anymore, right?
Right.
None of us remember it. Then you get the exact same repetitive chart that's basically mathematically programmed because Bitcoin is scarce and because new supply cuts in half every 4 years. So yes, I do believe that we're likely to see something very similar happen. It may not be exactly the same, but I do think it will rhyme.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, just visually looking at the charts, it just makes sense, right? And until you buck the trend, I mean,
Yeah,
it's gonna play out, man. At least
broke, don't try to fix it.
similar like macro moves, Now whether or not we peak at the same time, it's gonna vary. It's never gonna be able to time it perfectly, but as far as 2014 will be in this kind of area, I think 100%.
Let me ask you this question.
About that. It's clear the bottom is in when you look at that. Unless something tragic happens, I can't see there being enough Bitcoin supply to sell down 50% from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of something drastic happening, let me get your opinion on this, Scott. So Rob and I had a discussion yesterday, it was a very heated discussion, about the whole Paxos, the SEC labeling BUSD essentially a security and telling Paxos to stop minting. Is that troubling to you? Or do you think it just has to do with Binance?
I think I was basically the first person to scream that has to do with Binance, right? And so, and I think the proof is in the pudding, because you're not seeing that same Wells notice or qualification being sent to USDC, and you're also not seeing it applied to USDP, which is another stable coin minted by Paxos. I think that this is sort of salvo and a proxy war against Binance. Very hard to go up against Binance and try to crush them when they're dealing with different regulators and they're a global company and they're all over the world. But one way to kneecap them very easily is to take out BUSD. And so I think that it's curious. I think that it is not obviously an unregistered security. But the thing is, what Paxos did is not an unregistered security. They're minting this coin. It's fully backed. They're regulated. The question then becomes whether BUSD itself, once it's minted and sent off Paxos and over to Binance, where it's wrapped and moved around and used for various purposes, whether that makes it a security. And I can't really speak to that. But either way, that would mean you would have to go after Binance for that behavior and not necessarily Paxos. That said, I don't necessarily think that we're going to see sort of a widespread usage of this classification for all stablecoins. I really do think that this is a way for them to go after BUSD specifically.
And you make a great point. And, one thing Rob and I did agree yesterday in our discussion is, we agree that exchanges shouldn't have their own stable coins. They shouldn't be able to launch their own stable coins. Do you agree?
I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but I certainly see the argument. I don't think they need them. And to go back a few months, it's interesting that the SEC has chosen BUSD in this fashion, because you might remember that Binance themselves effectively eliminated USDC from the platform and forced people to use BUSD. Yep. So if you had a USDC balance, or if you deposited USDC, it automatically became BUSD, which then you would use on the platform. That was obviously a novel way for them to increase the volume and market cap of their own stablecoin. I understand why they would want that used within their ecosystem. But I have a feeling that that's a big part of exactly what's happening
Hold up.
here, because you already saw that the first thing CZ said was, we're going to probably have to go back to other stable coins and utilizing them, and we'll make whatever adjustments are necessary. But the BUSD pair is the most dominant on Binance, which is the most dominant exchange, and that will not be the case anymore.
You know, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on here. So there was an article that came out we covered yesterday that November of last year, so 3-4 months ago, Circle blew the horn on BUSD, saying that they're not backed. And so that kind of launched this investigation and probing. Then you have CZ coming out and doing what you just said. Everything's being converted to BUSD. Was this like the final, bam, gotcha, you're done, don't mess with us, don't mess with BlackRock, don't mess with Circle?
Yes. I mean, I can't say that with certainty, but it makes perfect sense, and that's exactly what I'm saying here. I mean, it's been my opinion for a very long time that that USDC is sort of the anointed winner by the regulators and the legislators in the United States, for better or for worse. I hold USDC. I'm not saying that's a problem. I do think it's the stablecoin that I feel safest in as an American citizen utilizing. But yeah, it's very clear that if you take shots at USDC, then shots are going to be fired back. I mean, I would even go a step further and say that it's likely that if we ever get something that resembles a central bank digital currency in the United States, it's likely to be USDC or something similar from a private company, and that the government itself will never have to go down the path of actually figuring out the technology and minting it themselves. They would effectively just regulate away the rest of them. And as I said, anoint a winner. And if you look at the USDC partnerships and who they're working with, it just makes a hell of a lot of sense that would be the winner.
What are your thoughts, Robin?
I mean, that was my argument all of yesterday, man. You know, or during our discussion on this topic yesterday. I mean, so you just nailed everything I was kind of discussing yesterday. My thesis though is it gonna be one dominant stable coin here in the States at least, and I think that would translate globally. Now I think there's always going to be room. There's always going to be, especially in a free market, you're always going to have other players in there. But you know, ultimately, in the same way that we use the dollar now globally, there are other currencies. They get less attention. Countries and companies aren't trading with different currencies abroad. Are we going to see that with one stablecoin? Is it going to be USDC? It seems to be trending that direction. And they also have the support of the correct institutions or the friends that you want to be friends with in corporate America. And also they have, as you mentioned, the backing of the U.S. government. So for me, I'm like, is it going to be a clear-cut winner? Is it going to be one stable coin like the Bitcoin? You know how Bitcoin's at the top of the list and market cap just keeps growing and everything else grows alongside it. We're going to see the same thing with stable coins. Because right now it seems like a neck and neck race. You got at the top of the list. I mean, you have Tether, you got Circle, you got BUSD. I mean, this is literally the market cap list 3, 4, and 5 And
we know BUSD is going to fall out of that. They're going to fall out.
I mean, are they? They're the biggest exchange. I mean, they seem to be doing that, but
BUSD has to
and
because
Tether's
there's going to
capturing
be.
it.
There's going to be no more minting. So there's only going to be people redeeming. So there's going to be no more minting. No one's going to be adding to the BUSD market cap.
Yeah.
At least for now. But I would say that so far USDT has been the winner because probably USDC is more difficult to use on Binance, and most people who are exiting BUSD are probably doing so on Binance. But yeah, and now Tether has a 70 million market cap, USDC 41 million. I don't think that we get one winner. I think we get one winner in the United States where it will be heavily regulated. I don't see Tether going anywhere internationally, but it could be the yield flippening of USDC and Tether if this gets crazy enough.
Well, so out of the three, Tether was first to the market. We know that's, I mean, you can argue first to the market on Bitcoin, Ethereum, first to the market on smart contracts, XRP first to the market on remittance payments and cross-border payments. And so, will Tether keep it for that simple fact? I don't know.
So Scott, just to wrap this stablecoin conversation up, you don't think the attack on BUSD is gonna resonate to the rest of the market? You don't think USDT might be next?
I don't know. I don't know. If I would be surprised if USDC is next. That's all I'll say. Right. And there was that funny fake news was going around 2 days ago that USDC and Circle had received a Wells notice. And very quickly that was all disputed and deleted. And I thought it was very telling how quickly that was eliminated from the Twitter sphere and from the news cycle.
Fast.
I think if they were going to go after Tether really, really aggressively, they've had so many opportunities. And interestingly, I mean, Tether just proved, a $400 million profit. I think they have Cantor Fitzgerald now involved, like really big firms looking at their books. And I just think that Tether, even if you think Tether was a bad actor in the past, which is something I can't speak to at all, I think that they got big enough and had enough time to actually become fully compliant and fully backed. So I don't really see much of an issue there. And it seems like BUSD is the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest to go after, and will make the biggest statement if they kind of are able to eliminate it.
And I think, what a lot of people forget is, USDT has been, come under fire and scrutiny for what's backing their stablecoin. It's been commercial paper. It's been company debt. Well, now they've come out with their attestations and said that 70% now is in U.S. Treasury securities. So bonds, bills, and notes. And so if you take the market cap, 70 billion times 70%, that's close to $50 billion of liquidity for the treasuries market. And so I think the U.S. is looking at that as well in an era where the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has come out and said there's a liquidity crisis looming in the treasuries market. I think the U.S. would be stupid to go after USDT because they are providing the liquidity. And on top of that, as it grows, you got to expect that to grow as well.
I'm sure they're going to want that liquidity moved over to USDC, and they're going to implement whatever kind of policies and regulations to get it from.
Why can't you have both? Why can't you have 100 billion from Tether and 100 billion from USDC?
Because BlackRock.
Fair enough.
Literally, you can ask any question in America, and the answer is because BlackRock. Like any question you ask about anything in America, just be like, because BlackRock.
I have zero rebuttal to that. It's just funny. All right. Speaking of Binance, so we talked about, obviously the consensus here is Binance is being attacked. Well, this is sourced from Cointelegraph. Binance readies their checkbook for potential fines from U.S. regulators. Again, sourced from Cointelegraph, the world's largest digital asset exchange, Binance, is preparing to face fines and penalties in order to settle outstanding regulatory and law enforcement investigations in the U.S., according to a February 15th Wall Street Journal report that cited the firm's chief strategy officer, Patrick Hillman. Binance has been working with regulators to remedy past compliance issues. He added that the outcome of ongoing investigations will likely be fines, but could be more, stating that it is for the regulators to decide. Now, a couple of things that they're referring to. The first is in 2018, when the Justice Department started probing and looking into Binance for violations of anti-money laundering laws. In 2021, the CFTC probed whether the company was offering unregistered securities, essentially crypto derivatives, without registering with the agency. And then the SEC launched a probe into Binance last February. If the U.S. goes after Binance, and obviously, we know Binance and CZ got a lot of money. But if the U.S. goes after Binance, how does that affect the crypto market? I'll start with you first, Robin.
So, I mean, it's the biggest exchange. But here's the thing. I think we're getting numb to these fines, right? And I don't think they're not going to be able to halt any real market activity that's done here in the U.S. I mean, you could, I guess, halt something in Binance.us. It's just not going to happen. And so only thing that's going to happen would be some fines to Binance, and Binance would probably push back, but they'd pay the fine, settle, admit some kind of guilt, and it would be a story for a week or two, and that'd be it. And I think that's just where we're at in the market. I don't think there's going to be sweeping changes, and Binance is going to pivot and change course and change their business model because the SEC is threatening them. So,
what are your thoughts, Scott?
Yeah, I tend to agree with what he said. I think that Binance has plenty of money and is more than willing to pay these fines. Interestingly, what I described with Tether, is the same with Binance. It's the best corollary, right? They maybe at some point, and they've even admitted, hey, we didn't really talk to regulators at the very, very beginning. We kind of did what we want. CZ made the great analogy a couple years back where he said, listen, this was like the invention of the automobile, right? People invented cars. They drove around with no speed limits, no seat belts. Cars got faster, more people got them. So then they started to regulate and pass laws to add seat belts and speed limits and all those things. Like, that's like being a crypto exchange. We started before the regulation was there. Now that the regulation is coming in, we're trying to keep up with it. And I think that's sort of a fair comparison. So I think that maybe they were a bad-ish actor, or at least not compliant at the very beginning. They got too big to fail. And now they're really working to be compliant so that they can move forward as a regulated entity all over the world. And so, listen, you guys live in Vegas, right? Like, just imagine you go into the Spearmint Rhino and you're CZ and you got a big fat stack of cash, and the people who work at the Spearmint Rhino, those are the regulators, just could come in and
The scripts.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've tried to keep that PG. He's going to make it rain. You know what I mean? Anything that needs to be settled will be able to be settled with money, I believe. And even if the United States comes after them, they know that it's kind of stupid because finance operates all over the planet, and we'll have no problem. Doing so. Just maybe Americans will once again get the short end of the stick and not be able to have fun.
To the chat, Spearmint Rhino is not a token or a project, so do not search for it on CoinMarketCap. It is a local Las Vegas strip club.
Not that you know of. Not that you know of.
I've heard of it. Somebody told me that that's what it would be like if you were seized. I don't know.
That's an interesting analogy. You know, Binance is a little weird. Like, they won't even come out and say where they're headquartered. So I don't know. I feel like part of it, they bring it on themselves. But, you know, Pep Brett in the chat asked, what does the SEC do with all the money they get from fines? That video editor that edits those videos on Twitter, the HR videos Gary Gensler does, that guy's costs a lot of money.
Expensive. He is expensive. Yeah.
So it was I Googled it yesterday, $6.4 billion in fine revenue or fines accumulated by the SEC in the last fiscal year.
Oh,
that is a lot. 6.4. That is would that be in the Fortune 500 company? I'm just curious. I think that would make the list.
Sure.
Yeah.
And revenue without, yeah, sure. And profit. Yeah. Net revenue. It's pretty significant.
That's terrible. All right, let's move on.
Good business model. Hey, make up rules as you go and find people when they don't know.
Yeah.
And protect nobody in the process. It's amazing.
And say you do, and make really cool videos that no one cares about. All right, so the headline of today's show was Bitcoin 56K. Well, I didn't just pull that number out of my you-know-what. Someone else did. This is a source from CoinDesk. Bitcoin primed to rally to 56K as NASDAQ breaks out of a bull flag, says a chart analyst. So again, this is from CoinDesk. Bitcoin has rallied nearly 50% in the first 7 weeks of the year, reaching a 6-month high of $24,900. So one chart analyst expects a continued move higher that could see Bitcoin more than double in value in the coming months. This is a quote. Bitcoin is breaking out from a long basing formation. There is a saying, the bigger the base, the higher into space. And the person who said this is William Noble, the director of research at Emerging Asset Group, and he was a former analyst at Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. He said Bitcoin may move from consolidation to another parabolic move back to 56K. And if you guys remember, this is the person who predicted the late 2020 surge from 20 to 40K. How much weight do you put on this, Scott? Do you think this is way too outlandish, or do you think this is an actual possibility for it to happen by the end of this year?
I think the prediction is silly because who knows, right? None of us have crystal balls, and we all know that, and myself included, by the way, our just analysis it's an educated guess, right? And coincidentally, you actually can't say analysis without saying anal and ISIS. But that's besides the point. You know, right now, I don't think we can even talk about the most bullish case for Bitcoin until we break. I know. Now I'm going to do my little analysis thing. 25,212, which I've been talking about for weeks and months, and was just tapped as the very top of the move today. If you look at a Bitcoin chart from 69,000, it's a series of lower highs and lower lows, which is the definition of bear market structure. And that would be violated with a break above 25,212. I mean, we're knocking on the door of that right now, which coincidentally is also where the 50 and 200 MAs are on the weekly chart. So from a large zoomed out perspective, one thing that most technical analysts would agree in is that if you break bear market structure by finally making a higher high, then the bear market is quote unquote over, right? From a technical perspective. So once that happens, your targets become new highs and higher. I don't know what time frame is going to happen on. I don't know when, but I think all three of us and everyone in the chat would agree that Bitcoin will eventually trade in the 50,000s and higher.
And this is,
it's not,
this is what,
yeah, you got it right there. See?
Yep. Got it right here. Guys, by the way, if you're not following our friend Scott, go follow him at Scott Melker, the Wolf of All Streets. So this is what you're talking about. Bitcoin Weekly 25212. I've been screaming about this number for weeks. A break above ideally close makes a higher high for the first time since 69K. That breaks the bear trend. Just tapped it to the penny and dropped in the short term. Time to pay attention.
For me,
yeah.
So for me, when it comes to, you know, where could you expect a bounce, or where do you think this is going to peak out on this bear market rally? Because it's not going to just straight climb till the next bull or till the next halving. It's going to have pullbacks, and you can just look back at the last few cycles in the process. So if you look at, so this is 2013. If you take a look at the 2013 cycle, the bounce here was about a little more than 50%, or where it kind of settled. So you went from 1,100, came back up to 650. The same thing happened in 2017.
I remember that, man. We went up to about 14,000. Well, 2019 I'm talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. So here you had 2017, 19,000, basically 20,000. And then we came back up to 11.
What I'm talking about right there at 12.
Yeah. So
with the wicks, it was a bit higher. Yep.
Yeah. So now you go over to the last one. I'm just going off of historical data, just in the most basic form without too much TA. 63,000. I would say a little over 50%. That's what happened the last two cycles. So I think we are probably more likely going to head up to 35K would be kind of where I would say, just slightly over 50%. 34K, maybe it doesn't hit quite at 35 for the simple fact that it's a really psychological number. 34, pull back down for a little bit, trade at 30,000, and then boom, off to the races next halving. So,
well, I don't know. I mean, that part would be ideal, but if you want to include all the information, after it went to $12,000 in April, it went all the way back down below 4,000 on the COVID drop, right? We're talking about April of 2019. So 30, if we're looking at historical precedent, even if we go up to 35, 42, then you would see a pullback to almost 20, 21, 22 before going to the moon. But either way, who cares as long as we go?
But can you argue, Scott, that was a super duper black swan event and maybe you wouldn't have pushed it that much lower?
Sure. Yeah, you absolutely can. I'm just saying we only have basically two halving cycles to look at for comparison, so it's hard to draw dramatic conclusions from that. But like, would anybody be surprised if we get so overheated and fly to 32, 35, 42, the numbers that would sort of line up with that? If we then got the, oh my God, the bull market's over, bear market has started, everybody's dead, it's going to zero attitude again with a drop down to the 20s, wouldn't surprise me at all.
Let me ask you this question. And if you're not comfortable answering it, you can plead the fifth. Oh. But I'm assuming you have a bag of Bitcoin, right? I mean, I do. Robin does. Okay. If Bitcoin gets to that 32 to 35K, are you selling and waiting to buy back lower? No.
I never, ever, ever do that. Ever. I don't even have to plead the fifth like Chappelle. Fifth. I plead the fifth. Right? No, you never. Yeah. Fifth. Fifth. No, never. Right. I mean, you could maybe trade around it or something, but my core Bitcoin position is accumulating forever. I have no intention of trying to get cute. How about all the people who are waiting right now to buy at 12 to 15,000? How are they doing?
Yep.
When they sold the bounce to 19, waiting for 12. Listen, they may get it, but I have my doubts. Right. The market's never that easy. And the notion of I'm going to sell now to buy lower first of all, that implies A, that you're right about what the price is going to do. And once again, you don't have a crystal ball, so you're probably going to be wrong. I mean, just as a human being making a guess, right? But it also assumes that when the time comes, you're actually going to buy and not at that point say, well, it's 12, it's going to 10, right? And that's what 99% of people who are waiting to buy the dip do. They refuse to do it when it comes, right? Unless you have a standing order that's been sitting there and you go into a coma and you don't make a mistake and remove it. Humans are dumb, right? And so you're going to go down to 12 and you're going to be like, shit, I can get this at 10, like another 20% discount. You know,
you're
like
100% right,
it's
man.
just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
So right.
So like, unless
why I know
are
you're
so
right?
sure of your own,
You know why I know you're right? Because I've been there. I've been there. I've been there.
That's why I know
I'm buying at this. Oh my God, it's dipping. I can get it lower. And then bam, next you know, reversal. And now you're like, all right, well, I missed that. I gotta wait. And so I think
I'm still waiting on Polygon to pull back. One of these days.
I'll tell you right now, you're like the two best indicators of where the bottom is going to be is wherever you have your lowest buy order that's 2-0 shit to keep, and wherever your stop loss is. Those are the two places that are going to be the dead bottom right before it goes your way, or they're going to sweep your stop and price is going to go flying. Yeah, dude, Matic, I have not been like discussing many coins at all, but I've been really hardcore talking about Matic, including a whole write-up on it today in my newsletter.
Tell us, man, why are you so excited about Polygon? Why are you so excited about Polygon?
And also, are you DCAing into Polygon, or are you kind of just getting in and out?
I'm all filled up. Right. So it's been one of my largest, it's my largest altcoin position, not named Ethereum, which I don't really view in that bucket. But like I first was buying it and discussing it around 5 cents. Remember Matic did that huge pump and the huge jump and came down and everyone was like, this is dead. A couple of years ago, they're like, this is nonsense. After that, at some point, I started buying around 5 cents. I mean, listen, dude, they have partnerships with Instagram. I mean, literally every huge news announcement of a partnership that you hear in crypto seems to be with Polygon. Like, I'm not going to ignore that. You know what I mean? So I was into 5 cents. I rode it all the way up into the $2. I didn't sell the dead top. I sold some, maybe $2, $2.50, $2.70. And then I started buying back again in the like 50 cents region. There was an inverse head and shoulders on the thing. I mean, this is all I put very few things in print, but I put all this in print. Yeah, there you go. Amazon, Mercedes, Adidas, Nike, Coca-Cola, Reddit, Disney. It's absurd. Right.
Yeah.
And so for me at this point, it was going to be a break above 130 that I thought sent us to around, 170. And I think it's about halfway there just today.
Yeah. It's at, so Matic is currently
143 now. But I think it topped at 147 today or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Matic's a beast, man. Matic's a beast. I know we're excited about Matic, and I just was curious what your excitement was. I want to. Yeah,
it also kind of didn't have a bear market. If you remember, like it outperformed everything the whole time. You know what I mean? You look at that Bitcoin chart that I shared, and it's a series of lower highs and lower lows. This never really did that, right? It went down, and then June of 2022, when everything else kind of chopped sideways, it bounced from like 30 cents all the way up to $1.30, while everything else was going sideways or then dying from FTX. And even in the FTX saga, I think it only dropped back down to like 75 cents, never made a new low, none of those things. Just relative strength to the entire market, this whole bear market.
I think what a lot of people were nervous about with Polygon was Polygon, Alameda's balance sheet had a lot of Polygon on it. And so people were saying, hey, if they got a liquidating core, they got a liquidated Polygon. But that to me, that doesn't worry me. And so other thing a lot of people are worried about is this Mt. Gox, right? Releasing and giving back the Bitcoin. Well, we got some good news. So this is from Cointelegraph. Mt. Gox's two largest creditors picked the payout option that won't force a Bitcoin sell-off. So there's Rocco with his Frappuccino and talking to the guy. Where's the spoon, Rocco? Rocco eats Frappuccinos with spoons. Isn't that weird?
It's our producer guys here.
Our producer, Rocco, yeah.
You don't have
Frappuccino with a spoon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's strange.
It's an Italian thing. Forget about it.
Whipped cream with a spoon. No?
It's not a water ice, as we called them in Philly. A water ice, it's not that you eat with a spoon. Water ice.
All right. So if you're worried about Bitcoin being dumped because of Mt. Gox, worry not, because the two biggest creditors of the Mt. Gox, the crypto exchange that failed due to the hack 9 years ago, have elected to get their bankruptcy recovery paid out in mostly Bitcoin. The decision to pick the former option could soothe longstanding fears among Bitcoin holders that a wave of simultaneous liquidations tied to Mt. Gox bankruptcy recoveries could drive down the price of Bitcoin. Had these two creditors opted to take the payout in fiat, the trustee overseeing the bankruptcy estate would likely have been compelled to sell off a portion of the recovered Bitcoin holdings to fulfill the fiat requests. Creditors who do choose to wait may have to hold on tight for a bit longer because the litigation around the bankruptcy may take another 5 to 9 years. Yeah. Now the payouts for the
32.
yeah.
Good God. Are we on the same timeline for like Voyager and Celsius? And
I
all
don't
that,
know, man.
No, we're not. It's much more clear. No, not at all. I think that actually Voyager creditors, myself included, will probably get paid out this year.
Really? What are you?
I mean, yeah, they're already making the move to Binance US. The move is there. The funds are there. This isn't.
Oh yeah,
Mt.
Voyager,
Gox is a little different because they have to like literally recover like stolen Bitcoin. This was a hack.
Right.
There's a hole in the balance sheet for these other ones, but they're pretty straightforward. Like how much is there and how much is owed. Let's distribute it pro rata, right? So it's easier.
So they're saying that.
By the way, just real quick to that Mt. Gox, to the point you're making about Mt. Gox, goes back to the very first conversation we had today, which was about the halving cycle and eliminating noise. Think about how much time, effort, and stupidity we've suffered over Mt. Gox for the past 5 or 6 years. Yeah. Every 3 to 6 months, Bitcoin has to dump because of the Mt. Gox creditors. And literally, you could have hidden under a rock or moved to another planet and come back, and there'd be no news on Mt. Gox that was relevant.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts on this, Rob? Were you worried in the first place?
No,
me neither.
No, not at all.
No.
And I think if someone did all of a sudden get some of their Bitcoin back, just these are early adopters of Bitcoin. These are people that have been in and that scooped it up. What was it 8 years ago now? How long has it been now? 8, 9 years? Whatever it is.
Mt. Gox 2013.
Yeah. So anyways, I feel like these people have conviction in Bitcoin. Will there be selling pressure? Sure. Is it going to be something dramatic?
Plus, if you had Bitcoin in 2013, I mean, bro.
Yeah. Obviously, you probably had a few $100, a few $1,000s. It wasn't,
which is now a few, I don't know.
But then also they were talking about paying back what your original cash value was as well.
That would be terrible.
And so
that would suck. Like if I had 10 Bitcoin, give me back 10 Bitcoin or whatever percentage of that.
That's what's happening on Voyager, though. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of confusion around these Voyager and Celsius bankruptcies and stuff. You get more by the value of the coins going up, of course, right? Because it's pegged to when the bankruptcy was and Bitcoin was near a bottom at that point. But that's in cash value. So like if you had 100 Ethereum and the price of Ethereum doubles, you're going to get back way less Ethereum than you had because effectively they're giving you the dollar amount in Ethereum now. So they're just basically taking the cash equivalent and buying the coin back at a much higher price. And that's sort of what would be happening there. It's brutal.
That's fair enough. All right, let's move on from one bankrupt person to another one. One of our favorite people to talk about, which is Sam Bankman-Fried. So a couple things with Sam. So he was ordered back in court. Also, the two guarantors of his bail have been identified. So this first article, this is from ABC7 Chicago. Sam Bankman-Fried ordered back to court after he accessed internet in way the government can track, aka a VPN. Federal judge ordered SBF back to court this week after learning that he had been using the internet with VPN. Judge Lewis Kaplan set a hearing for Thursday after he was notified by prosecutors and attorneys for Sam that the former so-called crypto king, a lot of people call him the Cucumber King because he was a vegan, used a virtual private network twice in the past month, including days after the judge expressed concern about the use of encrypted messaging apps. Bankman-Fried's lawyer said in a letter to the judge that Bankman-Fried, listen to this, used the VPN to access an NFL Game Pass international subscription to watch the Super Bowl. But Judge, I was only watching the Super Bowl.
The fraud doesn't stop at crypto.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
He couldn't watch it on TV at his mom's house? Like, what? You don't have TV?
They don't have cable. They
You're
cut
such a
cable to
nerd
save
that
money.
you need to VPN into the Bahamas to watch the Super Bowl from a house in the
They got to
United
save
States?
money, bro. It's expensive, man.
Yeah.
I haven't had cable in a
They
long
got
time.
two, they got two heavy Stanford researchers and a law school dean to back him. So he doesn't need a VPN anymore, man. He's got the big backing.
Which, Scott, was the perfect segue, because the next thing I'm covering
Thanks.
is the identity of the guarantors who signed for Sam's $250 million bail or bond. The judge has allowed them to become public. Court documents released on February 15th show that the two previously unidentified individuals are Andreas Pepke, a senior research scientist at Stanford, and Larry Kramer, the former dean of Stanford Law School. The two signed on as sureties for Bankman-Fried's bail on the 25th of January for $200K and $500K, respectively. Now, Kramer said he had been friends with Bankman and Fried since the 90s, and his $500,000 contribution was based on that relationship. I believe there's a quote. Oh, yeah.
How much money did his family give Stanford? That's
Here's
what
the
I
thing.
wanna know.
The next article says
And also,
this.
250 million bail, and these people guaranteed 700K. Whoop. I mean, you make those numbers
It
add
doesn't
up
make
to me.
sense, right?
It
doesn't. Our justice system is a little weird.
Yeah.
So here's another one, a follow-up to that. A former dean was talking about Larry Kramer. He said he co-signed for Bankman-Fried's bail because he was returning a favor that Sam's parents were his truest of friends and helped his family through a harrowing battle with cancer. So this is what Larry Kramer looks like. In turn, we have sought to support them as they face their own crisis. He said, quote, "My actions are in my personal capacity, and I have no business dealings or interest in this matter other than to help our loyal and steadfast friends." A lot of people were saying some of that money was probably from money they received from Sam or received from somehow.
Man. You know, man, if it's your parents, it's just his parents' friends. Why do we have to make a huge story out of all this? Everybody wanted it to be like Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler were the two guarantors or something. It's nonsense. These are like his friends, his parents' lifelong friends who are probably seeing their best friends suffer and are just trying to help. I don't like. There's nothing.
Would
here.
you do the same thing though? Would you do the same thing? You know, this guy is one of the biggest fraudsters in the history of America. Would you do the same thing, or do you draw a line?
I would tell my best friends that I'll give them. Well, first of all, they didn't have to give anything, right? They just guarantee if he runs away, basically, that they'll have to pay $500,000. So very different. I would say if I'm allowed to come over once a day and punch him in the face, I'll give you $500,000. just absolutely like a haymaker, though. Not like no bullshit. Like you just get to come over once and throw him against the wall or DDT, pile drive, something, just once a day. I'd pay for that.
Oh man. What about you, Rob? What are your thoughts on this whole situation? And would you do the same?
I punch him in the face? Sure, absolutely. No, well, here's the thing. Is the judge surprised? Like, at what point were you like, oh, he's using a VPN? Like, you knew he was damn well going to do that before. Like, you should have said, hey, no internet access, no trading. They did it to the other, who was the other guy?
Who?
Bernie Madoff. They did it to Madoff, you know, where he wasn't allowed to interact with any financial institutions. And basically, they were like, hey, don't touch any money outside of your checking account. And I think they should do the same thing with him, or at least expected him to be on the internet stealing NFL Sunday ticket.
I mean, you just try to watch Super Bowl, great American pastime. You know.
Well, last Super Bowl he had no ads on there, or this Super Bowl he had no ads, and he had arguably the best ad from the year before. And so
the Larry David.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. That aged really well.
That was fine.
That aged really well.
Yeah, and actually, Larry David was right. He should have just stuck to his guns in that ad.
The prophecy, the self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's a scam, man.
Oh man,
that is so like, well, like what a smack in the face to us, right?
Complete smack in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least
he was
Rihanna
trolling
was
us.
cool.
That's literally the biggest troll in the history of crypto, right? He's like, I'm gonna put out the biggest marketing ad in the history
And then
of
I'm
the
gonna rug
world in
everyone.
the biggest platform. I'm gonna say we're a scam, literally to everybody, and then see
Yeah,
who
it's
believes
good.
me.
He did. I got to give him credit there.
Scott, before we let you go, my friend, is there anything you would like to talk about? Anything exciting happening in the world of Scott Melker?
Not really. I mean, at least we have a lot to talk about now, right? I mean, we just talked for 45 minutes and probably could go endlessly on these topics. I will say that not in my world, but I am highly encouraged by the fact that the price of Bitcoin and the rise of the crypto market has been pretty much immune to all of this bad news. You could argue that this has been the worst news cycle that we've seen over the past month to 2 months outside of the obvious contagion. That wasn't news. I mean, that was just fraud. But the fact that we're seeing this massive regulatory crackdown, that we saw Genesis bankruptcy didn't even move the price of Bitcoin $10 to the downside. I think that this market really, really genuinely wants to go up. And I really would be pretty surprised at this point if we put in new lows after absorbing all of this bad information. So I think that, like, you know, we look at this 4-year cycle and you think about, man, when should I buy this if I'm looking at it long term? I can't tell you to buy at this price if you're going to panic sell at 24 for 25 right now. But like long term, if you believe this asset class is going, you know, Bitcoin's going to 100, 250, a million, whatever number you have in your mind, seems like there's a really good time to be dollar cost averaging and buying this entire bottoming event. So I'm just really encouraged by the fact that no matter how much bad news we've gotten, the market has just continued to rise. It's really, really bullish.
So do you think do you think this is the beginning of the bull market?
I wouldn't go that far. You know, because it just depends on timeframes. It's hard you have to qualify bull and bear markets with timeframes, right? You go back and you look at that cycle. 2019 went from what, 3,000 to 12,000. But if you zoom out, that was a bear market bounce. But I think by most people's definition, if you bought at 3,000 and were able to sell at 12,000 for 4 times your money on Bitcoin, that was a bull market, right? Yeah. So I think if you're looking at 15,000 and move to 35 or 40, like we're potentially talking about, I think that's a bull market of its own. Then we'll have to see what happens. If we then drop down to 20 and, you know, have to then make another higher high above 42 or whatever that number is, it becomes a completely different conversation. But above, I wouldn't say a new bull market has to begin, but I would say if we get above 25.12 here, at least the bear market or that bear trend is over.
Amen to that, brother. Guys, please go support our guest. Go support Scott. Follow him on Twitter at Scott Melker. Also, go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Wolf of All Streets. The link to that is in the description of this video. Scott, we appreciate you as always, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon in the future.
Thank you guys very much. Always a pleasure, and I'll see you at the Rhino.
Awesome, brother.
There it is.
See you later. Bring your digital wallet, okay?
I will. Lightning payments, yeah.
Yeah. Throw your phone at him. Here's your tip. This is Bitcoin. Thanks, Scott. Take care.
Thank you.
Oh man, we have some dope guests that come on our show. Real quick, I know you're gonna give some love to the chat, but real quick, I ended the poll. Will Bitcoin reach 56K? 42% of you voted yes, 40% of you voted no, and 16% of you voted. What you talking about, Willis? So, all right, Robin, go ahead, do your thing.
Well, you know, there's actually not that many new people in the chat. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where.
You have no names to butcher?
I got a few names, but not a lot. So
let's hear it.
If you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got Dixie Flatline, OX Rider. We got Crypto Curtis, Brandon Raul, J-Man, and Lunar VRR. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also, let's get the likes up. Hit the like button if you like the video, if you like David, if you like me, if you like our guests. Hit the like button.
Also, if you like to see Rocco eat a Frappuccino with a spoon, put it away.
Or if you like pina coladas.
He gets so mad. Rocco gets so upset. He attacked me immediately in the chat. I saw that, Rocco.
You see that?
I saw that.
Good.
Well, you couldn't attack me through the microphone, bro?
We have a guest.
Oh, okay.
He's on good behavior with the guests here. Okay.
Fair enough.
You don't argue at the dinner table. You argue in the bedroom.
I respect. Wow. We got Orange Bloods in here. Orange Blood's 21. Are you a blood orange guy or a regular orange guy, Rob?
There's no difference besides the color.
The flavor,
That's
the blood
like
is
saying,
more tart.
do
The
you
blood
like
orange-
yellow carrots or orange carrots better? They both taste like damn
the
carrots.
blood oranges are more tart, bro. They got a more bitter, tart taste.
It's the same thing.
Whatever. All right, I got some good news, guys.
They're just overpriced because they're red and they got a cool name.
I got some good. What if?
What was that?
No idea.
The toilet flushing in the next
What if
building
Texas?
over.
What if Texas becomes part of El Salvador?
What?
I'm kidding, of course. El Salvador to establish a Bitcoin embassy in Texas to promote the adoption of digital assets. This is sourced from Forecast News. El Salvador, which was the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender, plans to open a Bitcoin embassy in Texas, said the country's U.S. ambassador, Milena Mayorga, tweeted this on Wednesday. Mayorga described Texas as a new ally, and she had met with Deputy Secretary of the Government of Texas, Joe Esparza, to discuss opening the Bitcoin office and the expansion of commercial and exchange projects. Isn't it sad, Robin? Isn't it freaking sad that you got another country setting up a Bitcoin embassy in a U.S. state?
Well, first of all, what the hell is a Bitcoin embassy? I'm trying to be bullish here, but like, what are you going to go get a Bitcoin passport?
No.
Like, are you going to like
Commercial projects,
Like,
exchange projects.
Stop.
Come on, bro.
This
Bitcoin
is so
office.
gimmicky. Like, I want to
What?
be bullish. El Salvador's doing the right thing, but a Bitcoin embassy?
Yes.
Stop, man.
They're going to have meetups there, coffee, pupusas, barbecue pizza.
This is beyond gimmicky, bro.
Bro, okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry, dude.
Okay.
Like we have a
take
crypto
embassy-
channel but here. Like I am all in on crypto, but a Bitcoin embassy in Texas. Like, what are you going to accomplish there? I mean, realistically,
Bro, it's a place for them to meet to discuss BTC, bro. Okay, all right. Let me rephrase this. Take the embassy part out of it. Another country is working on moving Bitcoin forward and adoption in crypto. And
I would be more bullish if El Salvador opened up a pawn shop in Las Vegas for Bitcoin. Just put it that way, okay? So,
Fair enough. I respect that.
okay, cool.
All right, some real news here. If you are an Hbarbarian, if you're a fan, what is that?
I don't
the
know.
next door
They're
neighbors.
like fixing.
Sounds like a
they're
loud
fixing
Sounds like
drywall.
a
and
fart.
I'm building a frappuccino machine.
Yeah,
in case y'all don't know, there's like
Little
all
spoons.
kinds of like construction going on in the next building over.
You know what's not
I didn't
being
say-
constructed is our fiber. I'm kidding.
Hey,
Fiber's
what if we
coming
bang on the wall back at them? And I just,
soon. We have the hammer. We got
we
Thor's
just
hammer.
start hitting it every time, like communicating back and
Guys,
forth.
if you're new here, please say hello. We want to welcome you personally. All right. So if you're an HBAR fan, put a 1 in the chat because we have some news with Hedera. Hedera has been absolutely pumping. And maybe some speculation. Will this recent development, so this is sourced from Robin's favorite crypto news source, CoinGape. Will this recent development take Hedera, the HBAR price, past $1? On Thursday, Hedera's development wing, HBAR Foundation, announced the launch of the Kabila app, which utilizes the Hedera token service, also known as HTS, and provides a complete suite of NFT tools to boost the network's NFT development. The app offers HBAR creators a comprehensive and hassle-free experience, which includes a safe, non-custodial wallet for HBAR and the HTS tokens with peer-to-peer trading, an end-to-end NFT toolkit, and an NFT launchpad. HBAR Foundation argues that creators should be able to harness the technology and launch the collections with only a basic understanding of the underlying technology. So it sounds like they're trying to break down the barrier to entry, making it as, I don't want to call it dumb-proof, but you pretty much don't have to understand the technology to launch an NFT project. Is that a good thing, Robin? What are your thoughts on this article?
I mean, it it's what everybody's doing, right? You're incorporating NFTs or scaling, and you're trying to have more utility. And is it bullish? Sure. I don't think it's going to be anything. If you're looking for like some big price action rally,
You don't think it's a game changer?
no.
I,
I
think,
think-
you know, on a day full of bulls, you're awfully bearish today on the news, Robin.
I am bearish. Yeah. I'm bearish on the embassy for Bitcoin here in Texas. And
You know what we're not bearish on
what's that?
is our man, Jimmy.
Mm.
The official hype man of Sin City Crypto, gifted 20 Sin City Crypto memberships. Jimmy, we love you.
Oh, dang. He gifted my bird, Larry, a membership. Larry Bird.
Oh, Larry Bird.
Unless that's a actual like Larry Bird fan.
Possibly. They could be a fan of both. It's possible.
Mm.
Guys, we're done.
Is it?
We finito.
We finito?
See.
See?
You got anything? So if you have anything to say before we sign off, now's the time, not when I do my outro, just so you know. So do you have anything to say, Robin?
Yeah, let's remind the video that's going to come out today.
Ah,
about AI.
yes. We got a video
Rob,
coming
should
out
we
today.
Should we show it?
Yeah, show a little sneak peek.
Show a little sneak peek. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got a AI video coming out. Got a lot of little graphics in there and stuff. So it's kind of cool, visually engaging.
We'll give you guys a sneak peek, all right? We'll give you a sneak peek. For those of you that stuck around to the end, you are going to be rewarded.
And to those of you that are new, I see we got some new people here. A little shout out to you. We have Orange Bloods. We got Mesh Tokenomics, Gary Burke, Oren Bowers, Ender, Great Tersor, and then we got Marksville Gaming as well.
AI is taking over, and they're... Sorry.
And we also got
My
you
bad.
interrupting me. And then we also have my buddy, I Know Nothing, and Beachhead. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
All right, guys.
Oh, and Selva Vignashon. There you go.
What? Okay. Rocco, pull up my laptop. All right, guys. Sneak peek of our video dropping today. It's going to play like 15 seconds.
Mm.
Damn! Is that a $100 super chat?
That is a $100 super chat.
Damn, Jimmy. What does it say?
Or Dave, not Rob, the club snake.
Yes. Jimmy, we freaking love you, Jimmy.
We will open up. You drop a $100 super chat. We'll open up the damn club.
Oh, really? So you do it for $100? That's a slap to the face of Jimmy. Jimmy, you're a good man.
You can slap me with $100 anytime you want, Jimmy.
In
play the
all
video.
seriousness, thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. All right, here's a little sneak peek of our video dropping later today. Rocco, you want to drop the? AI is taking over, and there's nothing you can do about it. With its disruptive potential, AI is set to turn the financial world on its head. Find out why investors and traders are taking notice and what it means for the future of crypto. All right, that's all you get, baby.
Little tease.
A little teaser. That video is coming out later today, I believe. Right? Later today.
Yep.
So you got to have your notifications on. You got to be subscribed to Sin City Crypto. You got to be there for that. So before we leave, Robin, I'll let you do the honors because you got to make it up to my friend Jimmy here. Go ahead.
All right. So for those of you that are not familiar with Sin City Crypto and the club, when we reach certain milestones that we did not reach, we open up the club and celebrate, which is where we have a little dance party. Watch David's
Busting out my best
amazing
dance moves, baby.
moves. And without further ado, Rocco, let's open up this damn club. Where the music at? We got music?
I don't know.
No club music?
Club music's muted. Let's unmute the club music.
There it is.
This is so cringe when I dance. I'm so sorry, guys.
Let's go.
All right. Guys, go follow us on social media. Videos dropping in T-minus a few hours. Go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. Go subscribe to our new channel, Bold Broadcasting. The link is in the description of this video. Also, go pick up some merch. Also, do all the other things that are in the description of this video. Also, Rocco.
You know, we got 170 people in here. We only got 50 subscribers on Bold Broadcasting. Go subscribe.
Rocco's Finger Tornado. Friends, family and family of friends, we thank you guys so much for tuning in on this beautiful Thursday. Make sure to come back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our end of the week show. We're going to have our man Forrest on. We're going to check out charts. And with that being said, on behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. That's what you knocked over.
Pop it.